Hey guys, and today's guest is an amazing, the most winning pro bikini athlete, 3 times Bikini Olympia champion, podcast host, influencer, blogger, fitness and posing coach, Ashley Kaltwasser. Hi Ashley, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good, thank you. I'm super excited to have you on. Thank you so much for joining my Vegan Booty Talks and saying yes to my podcast. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I was trying my best with the bio to introduction because I know everyone's know you, and I was like, how should I say anything about this amazing person? Your history in bodybuilding just incredible. And before we're gonna start into some deep questions I get ready for you, I wanted to tell a little bit more for our listeners. Where are you from and what are you currently doing?
Okay. So I am originally from Akron, Ohio, but I currently live in Las Vegas, Nevada. So right now I'm just, I'm going to get my competition season going, and I'm super excited to be competing. I enjoy competing, so I compete a lot. I plan on competing a lot this year, that's for sure. So really excited.
I'm excited for you. And you already got your first show on this year, am I right?
What?
You already have your first show in
this
season?
Yes, I did. I got one down and a lot more to go. So we're just getting started.
Okay, how was it? Can we know?
Not the best, but you know what? I can't expect all of them to be flawless. I made a lot of mistakes, but hopefully that was just like the first show jitters. Yeah. But I'm looking to improve, and let's see what the next show brings. But yeah, I mean, regardless of a placement, I think like for me, what determines if I'm satisfied with my show package or not is how well I did and how well like my physique came in and posing and presentation and everything that goes into a show prep basically. So depending on whether I think I did my best or not will determine how like satisfied I am about my showing during a competition.
Yeah. So did you feel you did your best for this first show?
No.
I love it about you. That's amazing.
No, I did. I was probably one of my worst, but that's okay. Like I said, you know what? You can't expect them all to go super smoothly. And, I'm looking to improve. So now I got that out of the way, and now I'm like, okay, let's get another one going. So right now I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to compete again to like fix my errors. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I do. I also compete, so I'm totally get that. But can I ask you how you actually get into the bodybuilding? Because everyone's know Ashley as the beautiful bikini pro, but I want to know a little bit more about your background. Can you tell us?
Sure. So I've always been an athlete, always, ever since I was a little girl. So first I was in gymnastics, and then I ran track in high school. I ran track throughout college. So I've always been very involved with training and like training for something. So after college was done and track was over, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not training for anything. I'm not running track anymore. I'm not like working towards a track meet. Like, what am I going to do with myself? I felt so lost at that point. But then I kind of stumbled upon the bikini division. And I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like so much fun. I want to try this. So I ended up training for my first competition, and I just fell in love with it. It was so fun.
Wow. So you was doing the track, but how you actually like get to know bodybuilding? Is anyone tells you how that happened?
Actually, a former high school track coach competed in figure, and I followed her on Facebook. And then I noticed she was competing in figure, and then through that, I noticed that there was like bikini too. And I was like, this looks fun. So that's kind of how I was introduced, is because I saw what she was doing, and then I discovered bikini. I was like, oh, this is something I could try. This looks like a lot of fun.
Wow. At that time, have you ever think that it could be your career, that it could be serious? Like, Have you think about that?
Yeah, never. I never did. It was the craziest thing. I never pictured myself to be where I am today. I'm like, sometimes I sit back and I'm like, how did I even get here? Like, what? This is crazy, but in a good way.
Yeah.
I never really like assumed that I was going to do super well or assumed I was going to make it my career. And in fact, I would say like, I didn't even make it my career till I won the Olympia. So after that, it just like took off. But yeah, I feel like a Cinderella or something.
Oh, wow. I know it's amazing because I like it. Your story is a great example of for people who like, you know, they see their lives. They make so many plans. They know what they want to do. They know who they want to be. And then they move to this direction. And I'm not saying it's bad, but it's the other way. It's also just go with the flow, do what you love to do, but do it 100%. I think that's you. You're a great example of that. And thank you for being like this.
Well, thank you. I mean, I don't know. It's just how my mindset is. I just am super grateful for where I am. And I think you're right. I think some people come into competitions and think like, okay, I'm going to compete in my show and I'm going to do really well and I'm going to turn pro and this is going to be my career. And it doesn't always work like that. You can't like assume that it will. I feel like as long as you love what you do, you can definitely find a career within fitness, but to have that mentality that you're already going to basically make it and be able to make a living off of it is, you know, I don't think we should think like that. I think we should take one little step at a time, see where it takes us. But there's also, you know, other careers within the industry and the fitness industry that can kind of like a competition would propel you into that, you know, even further. So it's great. I think I was born to do this and I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm very, very grateful.
Yes, that's true. But how and when did you get your pro card?
I got my pro card in 2012 at a national show called Team Universe. It was in New Jersey. So yeah, a while ago.
How long did you compete before you got your pro card?
Like about a year.
Oh, so pretty quick. I mean, everyone is different, but I think
right. No, I would say it was pretty quick, but I will say I had a little bit of a head start. Being a track athlete and coming basically right off of my track career, I already had a pretty good base to start with. In fact, like I was almost ready as a track athlete for NPC bikini at the time. Obviously, bikini now it takes more, but back in like, you know, earlier bikini days, you didn't have to be as lean or as muscular. So a track physique was perfectly like acceptable, you know?
Yeah. When I just started my career like 3 years ago. And when I checked the pictures of the girls from that time, I was like, oh my God, I wish it could be back to this. It would be so much easier for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the bikini division right now, how the pro bikinis in Olympia and how your body look like, but it's so hard and it takes a lot of time to build those type of muscles. It's not as like it used to be, which is great. The division and the sport is involved. That's amazing. So how do you feel when you won your first Olympia?
Oh my gosh, I like cried with happiness. It was the best moment of my life, I swear. Because it was like, it was so unexpected. I didn't expect to win. No one expected me to win. I literally was just happy to be there. Wow. So happy just to be amongst the best at the Olympia. I was like stepping on stage I was like fangirling. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like right next to this girl. Oh my gosh, I know her. Oh my God, I saw her in magazines. Oh my gosh. So it was so cool to be even like with them. But then like I ended up getting first was crazy. I didn't expect that. Even when they did first call outs, I was in denial. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't the real first call. Maybe they're like trying a new like technique for judging. Maybe it's not the real first call out. You know what I mean? So I was, even when they were doing first call outs, I was in denial. And after pre-judging, I was in denial. So yeah, I think what made this really special is, like I said, no one expected me to win. I didn't expect to win, but my goal was just to make it to Olympia. So not only did I meet my goal, but I exceeded my goal. I always say, like, it's one thing to meet your goal. It feels great. But if you can exceed your goal, it is so much better. So much better.
Yes, that's amazing. And did you have a coach in that time to get
I did, yes.
Who was that?
Her name was Summer. She was a coach from Ohio.
Oh, okay, interesting. So you won your first Olympia, and then how did you feel after? Your life has changed? Did you felt like that's it, that's my career, I'm gonna do it forever? That's the time when you decided to build the fitness career?
Yeah, so after Olympia, I had so many great opportunities to travel the world, to give seminars, sponsorships, magazines, like photo shoots, all of this stuff. And I was like, wow, I can actually make this my job now. So it was so cool to, I don't know, go from just like bartending, because after college, I was just bartending. So it was like, it was so cool just to go from bartending, just be like, okay, I won the Olympia now, time to get serious with fitness. So I started being even more focused on my fitness career.
Wow, that's awesome. And I want to know, like, when you get the second time Miss Olympia and the third time, I mean, I'm sure everyone has asked this question, but did you felt like it's not as excited anymore?
I mean, yeah, nothing honestly would ever compare to 2013 Olympia. Even if I won again, you know, still it won't compare to 2013 Olympia when I won. Because it was, there's one thing that, like, you know, once you've won the Olympia, people have higher expectations from you, right? So it's kind of like people expect you to do well. You expect to do better. But coming from like me as a new rookie pro in 2013, from just like from a nobody to all of a sudden like the best, was crazy. So nothing will ever compare to that.
Yes, that's true. And then I also know this thing, you always talk about this, like people expect you to do good. People expect you to be the first all the time. And I can only imagine how hard is that. So how you deal with this mental pressure all the time from everywhere? What do you do to like just go and then relax and then enjoy the show?
Right. So that is totally correct. And I think that's like the only disadvantage of winning the Olympia is once you win it, people's expectations of you are so much higher. It's like anything less than first is like a failure. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like, let's say I was a brand new pro, and if I like placed top 5 as a new pro, I'd be like, oh my gosh. And everyone would be so proud of me. My friends, my family would be like, oh my goodness, wow, you know? So that kind of gets taken away once you've won, because then it's like, all right, you've been the best, so you got to do it again. And anything less is a failure. So I guess, I mean, for me, it's still an issue, honestly, because sometimes I feel like, well, you know, I should do better at something, or I should have made this stupid, like even like last week, I shouldn't have made these stupid mistakes. I should know better. I've won the Olympia and here I am making dumb mistakes. And sometimes I'm hard on myself in that aspect. And I think too, people still like, even if I, like, let's say, like even last year, and I placed 7th at the Olympia, where like, if I was a brand new pro, or, you know, somebody that hasn't placed before, everyone would say congratulations. But now it's more like, I'm sorry, Ashley, I'm sorry that you got 7th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like that ongoing issue. Like people aren't trying to be mean, but they're like, oh, I feel so bad for you. I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, I'm 7th in the world. That's amazing. Are you kidding me? So it's kind of like, yeah, if I don't do well, it is that like, I know I'm gonna have to deal with that, like, you know? And for me, mentally as well, I'm just like, I should know what to do. I should be better. I should have done this and that. I'm very like, I get kind of irritated with myself sometimes, but it is tapering off a little bit now that like it's been a few years since I've won the Olympia. It's not quite as drastic as it used to be, but I try not to let it take the fun out of it. Because at the end of the day, I won 3 Olympias, right? So I promised myself, like after winning 3 Olympias, I was like, I went further than I ever thought I ever could, ever. The fact that I made it this far is crazy. I exceeded so many of my goals, exceeded so many of my expectations. So whatever happens from here on out, I can't be disappointed. I can't be mad because I'm in a position that many people would die to be in. It's crazy. So like, I always got to remember that in the back of my head. Like, hey, regardless, you had a crazy career so far. So you can't complain, you know?
Yeah, you must win. You must win in Pro Bikini Olympia. How many shows you won? Pro shows?
22.
Yes, it's crazy cool. And then wherever who's listening out there, please stop doing this because I think it's absolutely wrong. Like if Ashley or anyone out there on a bikini show got any placement, it doesn't even matter, right? Even if I go and I compete on Olympia Amateur and I got 5th, that's an incredible result for me. And I get you because I have the same messages. Like even my mom could call me like, oh, it's not first, but don't worry. I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? I'm a 5th in the world. I am fucking happy. Sorry for my language. So everyone listen out there, stop these stupid messages. Even if girl is got last place, that's the win for her in the same day in this division and in this like body type. We never know what's on the back, right? Some people start from really beginning, right? So it's just crazy sad. I hate that. I hate those messages. So please, we know we know all the who is listening here, we know that you love us, right? They're just trying to be nice, but it's not something you
want. It comes from a good place.
Yeah, but this is not something we want.
It's kind of like they'll be like, oh, I know you're disappointed, but there's always the next show. And it's like, I wasn't disappointed until you told me that I was disappointed.
That's true. Yeah, I hate that. Okay.
So I think it's kind of like, you gotta, I mean, if it's somebody that like, you know, and they express to you, like, I'm disappointed because of this, then you can be more like, oh, you know, it's okay. But if you're like genuinely happy about your placement, like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
Then I agree. Like, I hate those messages. It's like, I hate people feeling sorry for me. It's like, especially if I'm excited about a placement or I think I did amazing. Because like I said, it's not even necessarily a placement. If I go into a show and I'm like, dang, I killed that look. I killed it. Like, for example, last year, I got 2nd at one of my shows, but it was my favorite look. I loved the package I brought to that show.
Yeah, I think that
I was like, excited.
Which one was that? Huh? Which show was
Tahoe?
Yeah, I knew it. Yes, you looked amazing. I love that too.
Yeah, that was my favorite look. And although I didn't get first, you should have saw me after the show. I was so excited. I'm like looking at my pictures. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Like I made improvements. Oh my gosh. I didn't know I could look like that.
Yeah.
You know? So what my perception of like what my best wasn't the judges, and that's okay. But ultimately I was so excited about that. But I mean, I think it's important to just like, you know, recognize the small improvements or any, you know, positives, because it's like, you know, I think a lot of people out here will take it a little too seriously too and be like, oh, I you know, I looked my best, but the judges didn't reward it. And it's like they get all like mad. And I don't think that's the right way to go. Don't get mad. You know, it's kind of like bikini is very fickle. One week a girl can get first, the next week she can get 6th, and then the next week she gets 2nd, and the next week she gets 15th. That's bikini. You know, there's so many talented girls, so many amazing physiques. You can't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then at some point of your career, you take some time off the stage and off the competing, right? And I want to know why it happened, and then what did you feel during that time?
Honestly, I took off because of the pressure. Yeah. In 2016, I didn't do as well because I was so like mentally burnt out, not physically, but mentally burnt out. Just the burden of expectation really got to me. Like I mentioned, you know, everyone expects you to do well, and then it gets in your head. So the burden of expectation got to me in 2016, and I didn't do as well. and my body wasn't looking as great as it used to because I just kind of wasn't in the headspace. But after that, I'm like, oh man, I think I need time off because I need to love it again. I need to clear my mind, a year to clear my mind of no pressure, no expectation, and just kind of relax. And that's what I did. And I regret it because I got fluffy. It was so hard to get back, so hard to get back. But what it did tell me is when I gained 25 pounds in 2017 from taking a year off, you know what? I said, I'm never going to let myself go again. And not to say that, you know, that I was like heavy, like not a fat, you know, but as a competitor, it's hard to get, for me, I'm 5 foot 5 inches. So to get 25 pounds off to prep is hard. It's really hard. So I said, I'll never do that again. And ever since, I've been staying within like 10 pounds in the off season.
Wow. That's an incredible story. I think that's only you did. From all the bikinis out there, pro bikinis, I don't know anyone who took so much time on the stage, gained so much weight, and then get back on the competition. That's inspiring me. That's an incredible story. So what time in your life you decided to come back? Is anything happen? Because I could only imagine, like, let's say you, Ashley, right? Like gain all those 25 pounds and then you feel terrible. And then you maybe think like, I'm never going to be back in my normal shape. Like what's happened? Like what's helped you to make this decision?
Yeah. So I got so far off track that I did believe, I was like, it's going to be, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get back into shape. So 2 things happened. So I was at my friend's competition and I saw it. And I got the goosebumps, just like the feeling. And I smelt the spray tan. And I was like, I missed it. I got the bug. I'm like, I've got to do this again. I missed this,
wow.
you know?
Yeah.
And then it was crazy because I was talking to her. I was like, I miss competing. I want to compete again. I want to get back into it. I think it's time to come back. And then like literally a few minutes after having that conversation with her, I got an email from my now coach, Adam Bonilla. He emailed me out of the blue. I've met him only a few times before. I never really like talked to him. It's not like I kept in contact with him. And he's like, hey, do you ever plan on competing again? If so, I would love to be your coach. And I was like, whoa, wow. Crazy. Like crazy. I didn't tell anybody but my friend. I didn't tell anybody. And it was like within minutes of me having that conversation with her. So I was like, oh, no, it's on. I got to come back now. Like, that's crazy coincidence.
Yeah, I think it's a God sign. That's incredible. I love this story. Wow. So
yeah.
Anita is your coach for how many years now?
Since 2018.
Wow. So do you now, as I heard, you now also coach in the Team Pro Physique Elite, right?
Team Elite Physique, yeah, I do.
I'm so sorry.
Online training, and yeah, I just do competition prep for the girls.
Oh, okay, that's exciting. Everyone was waiting for this. So can you tell a little bit more about your coaching style right now, and like what we can expect if anyone want to work with you?
Yeah, so I coach under Team Elite Physique. So Adam is the head coach and I am like one of the coaches under him, and we have a great little crew of coaches. But I'm having so much fun thus far doing it. I have transformation clients and I have bikini girls, but it is so fun to kind of like be a part of their journey. So like when I see their check-ins and then they get excited that they made progress, like that gets me excited too. I'm like, yay, because I know the feeling, I can relate. So it's like I kind of live vicariously through them too. So far it's been super good. And I'm really loving it so far. Love it. And then you posing coach as well, right? I help with the seminars, but I don't really do it that much, just one-on-ones, unless they're like in town or whatever. Okay, got you. So if anyone wants to go and start to be coaching by you, where should they go? You can go to teamelitephysique.com and enter in like the new client questions or comment form, contact Adam, and then he can assign whatever coach he feels is more fitting. So maybe it's me, who knows?
Okay, I see. Okay, cool. That's awesome, because we all was waiting for this. I was always wondering why you still didn't coach. And then finally you decided to. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's because I just got so busy with my own competitions, but I'm realizing I can definitely do both. And what really made the difference is my coach moved to Vegas. So he was in Denver, but now he's in Vegas where I live. So I'm like, okay, I can make this happen now because he's here.
Yeah, makes sense. So I want to talk a little bit more about your diet. We are in the vegan booty talks. So yeah. I for sure want to ask this question. As I know, you're not really big lover of fish, of eggs, or even meat. So I was wondering.
Yeah. Wow, you did your research.
Yeah,
I'm very picky. I'm very picky. Yeah, I'm not a big meat eater. I'm not really, I don't like turkey. I don't like pork. Steak sometimes I could do, but I'm very particular about it. I don't like beef. I like steak, but not ground beef. You know what I mean? I'm strange. I eat a lot of chicken, but not I only eat it in 3-ounce portions though. So it's not like I'm eating 8 ounces or anything. I do like Greek yogurt. I like whey protein. I am a fan of protein bars. I have an obsession with protein bars.
I gotta give you a high five for that. Me too. Yes. I'm so obsessed.
So good.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it's like a candies.
Yeah. It's like candy. Yeah. You know something? I look at some of our products now that we have on the market, like the protein bars and some of these sugar-free foods or these diet foods. And I'm like, honestly, this makes dieting so much easier than it was years ago. When they first came out with protein bars, for example, they taste like poo-poo. And now they taste amazing. So there's no excuses. Everyone can be healthy and tasty.
Yeah, I agree with you. So you don't really like fish, and then you don't eat a lot of meat, and sometimes you like dairy, but more like whey protein. So I was wondering, have you ever think to be vegan or try to be vegan or vegetarian?
So here's my thought process on that. I think I could. I totally think I could. I'm not obsessed with meat, but I'm afraid to prep with a new diet like that. Because I do know that I'm pretty carb sensitive. I don't have a lot of carbs in my diet. And correct me if I'm wrong, in vegan diets, typically you do have to go a little bit higher in the carbs to get the protein. Is this correct?
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm afraid to kind of do that. I think if I were to take a very long off season, or when I'm done with competing, I would totally give it a try. Because I actually love vegan food. I love tofu. I love veggie grill. So good. When people go, ew, vegan food, ew. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's delicious. Have you tried? I think it's good. I really do.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, I would definitely recommend you to try even more vegan meat replacement, because a lot of tempeh or seitan is going to be taste better than chicken. I think you're going to like it. But I agree with you. I can't imagine how hard is that to believe and then try to prep like that, right? Especially on those levels what you compete, and then you cannot risk it, right? But maybe you can just add a little bit of plant-based meals into your normal daily, life, even if you don't prep for the show. And you said you like tofu, and that's incredible, because a lot of people hate tofu. It's just,
oh man, if you cook it good, cook it in the air fryer. Oh, so good.
What is your favorite recipe for tofu? Air fry it with spicy?
I don't really have any recipe, but any seasoning that I have, I will kind of I'll chop it in little cubes and coat it and then put in the air fryer or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good one. So have you ever used any drugs to get prep for a show or to get lean? Do you use any kind of this stuff?
No, I don't think here's the biggest misconception is people think you need to. In bikini, you're not supposed to be that ripped. You're not. I feel sometimes people have that misconception, and then they you know, make all these assumptions, and, you know, one thing leads to another. But like in bikini, like if you saw me in real life, you'd be like, you're small. Like, you know, I think like people look on the stage photos and they're like, oh my gosh, she's so jacked. Well, that's because we're at our leanest. We got that tan on, we got the glaze, and it's like, it looks like we're bigger than we are. But in real life, people walk up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so small.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I can see why people assume like things of bikini girls, but I would say in most cases that would hurt girls more than help.
Yeah, I really want to touch on this question. That's why I decided to ask, because a lot of people have this misconception, and a lot of people asking me, and then clients like, oh, what should I take? And then it's just broken my heart. And then saying that you 3 Bikini Miss Olympia never use those things, it tells everyone out there right now that please don't listen to anyone. You can be successful in the fitness, especially in bikini division, without any drugs or any crazy stuff which you can take, right?
And I think too, like people kind of use that as almost like to rationalize or to make an excuse, like, oh, the reason I'm not at that level is because they do this and I don't. You know what I mean? And I'm like, listen, you don't even know. But like, yeah. And I feel like sometimes even some coaches will kind of push that narrative too, like, oh, this girl, these girls are doing good because they do this and you're not because you don't. Like, I'm like, oh, come on. Like everything's an excuse. Either that or it's like other people say like, oh, she has that butt because it's butt implants, or because she photoshops her pics. You know what I mean? Like it's like eye roll.
Yeah. But that's good that you touch on that. It's absolutely true. Ashley butt looks the same in real life, guys. I saw it. Yes. That she is photoshopped.
But I'm sure you get it too. Like sometimes people will be like, oh, your butt is fake or whatever. You know what I mean? Or just those comments from people that just because they can't like get to that level, or because you have something they don't, because you worked really hard, or maybe it's because you're blessed in the genetics. But people will kind of like say, oh, but that's because she does this, or that's a Photoshop, or that's implants. You know what I mean? Like
that's that. I have a lot of this about vegan bodybuilding. You know, they like, oh, you're vegan and you bodybuilder, it's impossible. That's because you're taking drugs. And I'm like, no, excuse me, I'm not, and it's possible, especially for bikinis. So that's good to touch on that. I want to ask you, of course, like we talk about good stuff, about amazing experience in the show, but I'm sure you got not the best experience of your life all the time, right? And then I want to ask, what was the worst show day in your life?
As far as how I looked, or just experience in general?
Both, or you can choose.
Okay. Honestly, as far as like experience, I would say even this last show, because I messed up bad and I shouldn't have.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, not to say like, you know, my placement was bad, but like just I was off, and mentally I was not there. I was just like way too nervous. Nerves got to me. As far as like my worst physique I've ever brought, probably I've tried a few times to see what it would look like if I went like softer into a show, if I had a softer physique, because you know in bikini some girls are leaner, some girls are softer, some girls look better softer, some girls look better leaner. So I've always been like a leaner competitor, because I you know, I'm an athlete, so I don't know, that's the look that I think looks best on me. But I was like, you know what, let's see, maybe I will look better a little bit softer. So I think there was like a few shows in 2018 that I kind of tried to look softer, thinking that it would like make me look fuller and more, I guess, curvy. And I didn't look that good. So yeah, that's a learning lesson though. They're all learning lessons. Like anytime you mess up or don't look your best, you then it's like, okay, I know that doesn't work for me now. I'll try something different next time. So
Yeah, that's absolutely true. This is the lessons, and then how you stay so positive and motivated if you get those not the best lessons. Let's say you get a bad show, right? And then how you get back on the track, how you stay so positive.
because I realize I'm in a very lucky position. And, you know, I live such a cool life. Like, it's so fun. I love competing, right? And who knows how long this will last for? No one knows. Like, I even remember last year I wanted to compete at the Arnold, and I was planning on it, and then I had to get eye surgery. So it's like, you never know what's going to happen. So I always try to make the most of it and be like, well, shoot, I might as well do it. And I think I'm in the perfect like lifestyle position to do it as well. Like, I don't have a family, I don't have kids. I have a sponsor that pays for my travel and my stay. And I've got an awesome coach who comes with me, and we have a lot of fun. Like, it's fun for me. And I definitely want to keep improving on that 22 win record so that no one can touch me. So I also got to work on that. That's my goal, you know? So I don't know. I'm not going to lie. There will be times where, you know, I'm a little bit disappointed with myself. Like I was at this last show, and I'll be like irritated with myself for like maybe a half a day. Like not like sad, but just like mad at myself. Like I could have done something better. Mm-hmm. It's not the placement. It's I could have done something better. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Even when I win, sometimes I will feel like, oh my God, I could have done this way better. What was I thinking? Like, I should have done this. I should have done that. But depending on like the severity of it, usually it lasts about half a day. I get over it, and then I'm like, okay, let's get back to it, you know? So.
Yeah, that's so good about you. You don't focus so much on the one show. You move forward, and I think that's why you're the most winning Bikini Olympia pro. That's because you move forward, and then we all love to watch that. And my last question is what I ask everyone on this podcast, and it's actually funny because it's going to be right in time because you just mentioned that. What will you do if that's going to be the last day of your life on this earth?
Oh man, that's a deep question.
I know. I'm sorry.
I mean, I guess I might as well go vegan. Because it's not gonna matter.
Maybe something else.
Honestly, yeah, I guess I would just get a massage, get a facial. I guess calories don't matter, so I would eat whatever. I would go to the beach. I just like, you know what? Honestly, I'm very a low-key person. I just like being pampered sometimes, like being taken care of, like nails, pedicure, massage, facial. I love those kind of days. So I'd probably do something like that, something relaxing.
Yay, that's awesome. And before I let you go, I have kind of like a small game I play with everyone here. So I'm gonna say 2 words, and then you're just gonna choose one. Sounds good?
Okay.
So coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Black or purple?
Purple.
Gym or outdoor workouts?
Gym.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Juice or smoothie?
Smoothie.
Wine or water?
Water.
Chocolate or sweet cream?
Chocolate.
Kiss or hug?
Hug.
Love or sex?
Love.
Okay, cool. That was it. That was small.
Oh, is that like an evaluation to see my personality?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Just people want to know you more a little bit. So I think that's when you ask those questions straight to choose one. That's what we really want. Something like that. So thank you.
That's fun. That's such a good idea. That's so fun.
Thank you. And then thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really appreciated. Thank you for telling us the deepest part of the problem with competing, right? Because not everything is really good, even on this amazing pro level that you are. And before you're gonna go, please tell something you want to our listeners out there, what you want to wish. It was the Easter, so maybe something you want to say?
Have a happy life. I don't know. Have a happy life. And I want to thank everyone out there for listening. And I want to thank everyone out there for existing. You guys are awesome for existing. And you are too. So thank you.
Yay, thank you so much. And everyone out there who's listened, all the descriptions in the podcast below to find Ashley, to follow her if you're not, and to know more about coaching with her. I'm excited for you to be my coach one day. So guys, go ahead and then look in the descriptions below and follow Ashley because she's having an amazing content out there. Thank you for that, Ashley. And thank you so much for showing up today. I want to hear you more. So maybe we're going to be back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.